The film I chose to analyze is called King Corn. King Corn is a film from 2007 about the industrialization of corn in America. Ian Cheney and Curtis Ellis are two friends from Boston that decide to move to Greene, Iowa to grow an acre of corn. They had recently found out that their generation may not have the life expectancy that their parents' generation had. When tracing the paths that an acre of corn may take after being harvested, there are many dangerous truths discovered. High fructose corn syrup leads to diabetes. Feedstock cattle are fed corn to become fat enough to slaughter, and then become mostly saturated fat in the human diet. As seen in our weekly lessons on food as a product, Eric Schlosser explains the conditions of animals being used as food. The cattle are pumped full of steroids and, as seen in this film, corn. They aren't able to move around to burn calories because this would delay them gaining the weight they need to be sent to the slaughterhouse. The government subsidizes this way of growing our food, with the cost being our health. Another theme this film explores is the food community of corn farmers. All of the farmers' lives in Greene, Iowa revolve around harvesting corn. It has become their identity. All of the farmers must compete, but it is something the generations before them never had to do. As long as they can remain competitive, they will be able to pass the farm on to future generations. In the past, growing corn was limited by the Department of Agriculture. However, when Earl Butz took over in 1971, he removed limits on how much a farm should produce. Farmers in America today have to remain innovative to produce the largest yield possible, or their farm will go out of business. Another investigation that Curtis and Ian do during this film is how high fructose corn syrup is produced. They've realized by going to a scientist that can see what your hair is made out of, that 70% of what they eat is corn. So high fructose corn syrup can be found in almost everything if you look at the label. The excess of corn that the government subsidizes goes towards high fructose corn syrup. Another theme I wanted to explore was gender roles in food. In this film, all of the farmers are men. The only interview with a woman is when they're asked if they eat the corn that they produce, and the woman says she makes cornmeal out of it sometimes. I feel like a lot of times farmers are just assumed to be men. You never hear of a woman being a farmer. You always hear a farmer's wife. Actually, when I Googled images to find cartoons of farmers, they were all men. I tried to find a farm woman riding a tractor, and I found them riding a lawnmower. I don't know what it is, but in our society, we just picture a farmer being a man, even though we know that's not the case. This film mostly shows how our food has been affected by industrialization in the past few decades. The community is something that is an underlying topic. It shows how this whole town majorly relies on its corn production.